What's good, y'all, man? We got a new Superman set photos look. Okay. New Superman, y'all. You feel me? Let's see the photos.
Up and away, DC fans. We got ourselves some brand spanking new photos on the set of James Gunn's Superman, and oh, dude, this is a time where we're eating good, baby. We've got so much to discuss here today, where they are turning the streets of Cleveland
How he sounded, like it sounded good. I don't know.
Into Metropolis. So many sights to see, from the signages, the Daily Planet, and even newspapers.
Greetings from Metropolis. Okay. Daily Planet. Oh, we finally got, like, you know, not a clear picture, but, you know, okay.
Revealing
Superman.
brand new looks of David Cornsweet as Superman. Oh, we're going to be diving into all those photos here, along with the reactions online on whether people are loving this or hating it, because, man, the Superman movie has a really bad uphill battle with fans. So many naysayers, but I am keeping the positivity and
like 50-50.
open. James Gunn can surprise us all,
Even
with my own doubts on this film. So as I go through these photos, please let me know your opinions down below on what you think of this. Do you like this look for Metropolis? Would you have gone with something else? When we look at some of the newer Superman photos, are you digging the suit, or you still think you need more time to get used to it? I'm gonna love to hear all your opinions down below. Okay, so over the past week, they have been turning certain streets of Cleveland into
Oh, they got the streets. Got the concrete showing.
Metropolis. This kind of been a big deal for a couple of reasons. For one, Cleveland is actually the origin for Superman and Metropolis.
Oh, is that Cleveland? Is that Ohio?
The streets of Cleveland into Metropolis. This kind of been a big deal for a couple of reasons. For one, Cleveland is actually the origin for Superman and Metropolis. And you know, with James Gunn loving to be comic book accurate, throw in as many Easter eggs and homages to what came before, it's kind of cool that he decided to make Cleveland, or at least parts of it, into Metropolis. We already got a look at some signages earlier in the week, and we were definitely getting older vibes. This is not your typical modern day street that you would see in our times. James Gunn is staying true to his words in turning the DCU
it's like a futuristic
into a fictional universe.
So there is a bit more of a fantasy element to DCU. One of the things I love about DC, excites me about DC, is that in a way it's another alternate history. It is Gotham City and Metropolis, Star City, Bloodhaven, and you know, all these different places in this other reality.
Something I'm 100% on board with, because although I love places like New York City, LA, Florida, there's something just so immersive about being completely in a fictional universe, one that James Gunn is promising us is already filled with so many heroes left and right. But now with some of these newer photos, not only are we seeing the kind of destruction that's about to go on in Metropolis, but it also kind of tames my expectations for some of the vibes of this place. One of the things we were hoping for with some of these signs that really gave us like 50 vibes, to me it really reminds me of like the scene where Marty McFly goes to Hill Valley in the year 1955 and he's looking at all the signs around him. That's the same kind of
same vibes,
font and lettering I get here with Metropolis. All the signs look like they came straight out of the 50s, and that gave me a little bit of hope, because in the first look photo it seemed like we were just going to get a typical modern day city, which I thought would have been a little bit boring for Metropolis. I thought maybe they will lean into a little bit of the retro.
Right now, you can get a free footlong in Subway. Buy any footlong in the app and get one free.
Dawn Power Wash has 3 cleaning boosters not found in traditional dish soaps. It's more than soap, it's power wash.
Futuristic world that was like kind of set up in the Superman animated series. That type of city in live action would just be a fan's dream, but it looks like it's gonna be a little bit of both. It's gonna have that retro feel, but not so much the futuristic side, more modern. So retro modern, because we're finally getting vehicles put in place of some of the destruction happening.
Yeah, so they got like the our vehicles type
on
shit.
the streets, you can see these concrete blocks of something being destroyed on the streets, and they have cars to match the scenery, and these cars really don't scream retro or even futuristic. This is like something brand spanking out of 2005 or something. We do have like a Vespa off here to the side if that helps out anybody, but it's definitely still setting up its own flavor. When we're getting a little bit closer on some of this signage, especially the sign here that says "Greetings from Metropolis," I love the city skyline that's being painted out here. It lets us know that we will see a daily planet with the globe on top, which is very common in the comics and most Superman media, minus the Zack Snyder interpretation. That's some of the debates fans were having online, getting real riled up with each other. I am not a Zack Snyder hater. I in fact love Man of Steel and some of the things he was doing with Superman, but I gotta admit, what a boring looking daily planet. It's just
nah, y'all, that's crazy. That's crazy. Nah,
have the globe be inside and shaped like a cereal bowl. So now getting over here to James Gunn's Metropolis,
that
and
look
looking
good.
at his daily planet. For one, I love the outside look. We thought it was just really going to look like this with the words Daily Planet, and it's like, okay, it's got some rich architecture, it's got some gold on there, and then bam, one day later, they added the freaking globe right in front of the entrance. Oh, that is glorious. I love the look of this daily planet and just these little attentions to detail I love that James Gunn is throwing in. I mean, fans were even talking about the revolving door in front, although I feel like this might be a little cheesy. Fans are hoping that there's going to be a scene of Superman just running through that revolving door and having a quick costume change. I say cheesy because that's just something that's just been overplayed and overdone in older superhero tropes, but then again, this is a Superman trope. Hopefully they can find a way to make that work, but if they don't do it, I'm gonna understand. And, you know, before we even get to some of these newer looks at Superman, I do have to mention all the little Easter eggs and things fans are picking from all the signs in the background. I feel like this is just something common that happens with a lot of superhero movies. You just find anywhere left and right to throw a comic book artist's name, a reference to a certain character, and the biggest one that people were talking about is this bar for the Wounded Duck. It turns out in the comics, Tim Drake is associated with this bar, and that got a lot of people in the Bat community happy.
Everybody.
Like, oh my God, James Gunn is actually going to introduce the Bat family in here, but I don't know. I'm 50-50. I feel like it could literally just be a random name that James Gunn threw out from the comics to fill up some backspace. Or maybe this is him hinting that we'll get some Tim Drake Robin love. It's been mentioned before that when we get to Batman Brave and the Bold, we'll see the extended Bat family out there, not just Damian Wayne Robin or Nightwing Dick Grayson. For now, I'm going to chalk this up to just a nice little Easter egg to fill the background and nothing more. But now moving on to these newer looks of David Cornsweet as Superman that really got me excited, because for a while we've just had this one look photo, and while I don't hate the photo, you gotta admit it definitely caused some debates and divide online, where there was people that loved it and there was definitely people
50-50.
people that didn't.
I mean, I fuck with it. It's cool. Ain't all that though. But, you know, I fuck with it though. I fuck
Not
with
even just concerning the suit itself, but just the posture of Superman, the way the photo was delivered, the blast in the background. There's just so many things.
Superman stops MTA Rhea from running the tracks.
To talk about with this photo. It's finally nice to get some brand new looks. So these again are coming from the set
Voice of Metropolis.
of Superman.
September
where
7th. Hey,
looks like we got some newspaper clippings of 2 different outlets talking about Superman saving the city. I'm going to start off with this Daily Planet one that showcases Superman stopping a moving train, an absolute classic in the Superman world. If you bring to life Superman, at some point you just gotta have him stop in a train for some reason. It's just the thing he does. And here with this headline, we have Superman stops MTA rail from running off the tracks. The funniest part about this photo, though, is that this article was written by Clark Kent, and if you go into reading some of the details, Clark Kent is just glazing Superman here. I mean, reading this line here, Superman blazed to the front of the runway in an impressive display of superhuman strength and bravery. Bro could not help but to give himself some brownie points. But back to the photo itself, what a sweet photo. I saw a lot of fans talking about online, this should have been the first look at Superman, because although this is like, you know, a 240p image through a dirty glass taken off from someone's phone 10 feet away, this photo itself exists in like 4K HD because it had to be taken to then put onto this newspaper. I feel like this would have been the best first look photo of David Cornsweat's Superman. You were showing him in his super suit, but you were covering up some important bits, so there's still some left up to the imagination, but you're catching him in the act, being heroic, doing a classic Superman deed. Man, if this was the first look photo, I think you would have seen so much more positivity and a lot less hate, where it felt a little bit more balanced on this photo. Although I'm still leaning towards positive with this photo, I feel like this one would have won me over instantly. Either way, I am starting to get more used to the suit every day. I didn't absolutely love it from first glance, but now, like, seeing it in action right here, it actually looks gorgeous. You can clearly tell, as grainy and far away as that is, oh, that's Superman right there. And that's definitely like the #1 thing you need to know. So props to Jimmy Olsen for snagging this shot, man. You were just right there at the right time, Jimmy. But now moving on to the next photo here, that is a much more...
Superman saves 20 after downtown building collapse. Damn.
Quote unquote,
and what could have been a tragic outcome.
Quote, clearer look at David Cornsweat's Superman suit that, yes, is still very grainy, very dirty. You got to kind of squint or look at it from afar to make out some of the more details, but this is still kind of the most straightforward look to the Superman suit we've gotten. And okay, let's talk about it. You know me, I was #1 contender for bringing in the underwear on the Superman suit. I just think it looks cool, and with this photo, it looks more like it's gonna be briefs as opposed to just like straight up tidy whities. So they're gonna end up looking a little bit more like shorts as opposed to underwear. I know that doesn't make a difference to people who like didn't want the Superman underwear, but I'm just happy to have it. The other thing I'm noticing here is, man, that belt is really thick. You really couldn't tell from the first time photo, but man, that is like a good 4 or 5 inches of belt around his waist. Hopefully that'll add a good amount of color. It's said to be gold, but I gotta admit, I was not expecting the belt to be that big. I'm still loving the Kingdom Come Superman symbol on the chest. Even with this grainy photo, you can see some of the unnecessary lines added to the Superman suit, specifically on the shoulder area. I'm really hoping that stuff just looks so much better in action, but I'm just not a huge fan of the unnecessary lines. Aside from that though, I'm still digging it, man. I'm still excited for this. Looking at what's happening in this photo though, it said that Superman saves 20 after downtown building collapses. The article is written by the Metropolis Eagle, which is actually the competitor of the Daily Planet, so just more things added on from the comics thrown in here. Another thing to mention here is it says no fatalities in what could have been a tragic outcome. I remember being alive for the debates with Man of Steel and how many people died in Metropolis, and so that was just another thing fans were debating with James Gunn's version and Zack Snyder's version. Another interesting detail that fans were quick to point out when analyzing this photo, if you look at the background, you can see Superman used his ice breath to help with the fire and the collapse. I
seen that, yeah.
I'm a big fan of Superman using his ice breath. I don't think it gets used enough in any sorts of media. It's always him just laser in his eyes, and lasers in the eyes are cool, but man, ice breath is even cooler. That's why you come to the channel, come on. So who knows if we actually get to see this scene play out, or they just like took a whole bunch of photos and David Cornsweat in different poses and they just made up these articles in Photoshop. But man, if I can get a scene of him saving this building, then using his ice breath, saving pedestrians, that's the kind of stuff I'd love to see in superhero movies. Yeah, it's cool when they fight the big bad guy or the big monster, the superpowered villain, but them doing mundane stuff of saving people from like natural disasters or accidents is just always going to be the cherry on top for me when it comes to superheroes. So yeah, things are moving forward with this Superman movie. I'm honestly surprised at the scale and look of it. There's still so many things I want to see come to fruition and how this ends up looking, but I am rooting hard for this movie and I want it to be amazing. After all the years of us just waiting for some sort of Superman movie to finally be made, made. It's just awesome. We can talk about it, look at these photos, analyze them, get excited or debate about what we're worried about. These are the things we want with movies, and we haven't been able to do this with Superman in like 10 years. I'm gonna want to hear from you guys. What do you make of these photos? What details did you catch that I maybe didn't talk about? Your thoughts on the suit itself in these photos? I think everything. Be sure and like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.
But yeah though, man, let me know comment below what y'all think on the new photos and the new, well, not really new, but if you didn't see it, you feel me, there we go right there. But anyway, let me know what y'all think, man. What y'all think? Let me know. 50-50, 10%, 20%, 30, 40, 50, 80. Let me know, y'all. But yeah, I got what's up. Peace.